What's up, DIY Nation? Welcome back to YouFloor, the channel bringing you tips and tricks to help you with your next flooring project. Now today we're going to be working on a stair nose. We installed pergo outlets and I have two very long steps. It's actually one step and one landing, but I have to put a stair nose on two long areas. So if that's something you're about to get into, stay with us. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go. Okay, so when I put these in the saw here, as you can see, there's no way to keep it from rocking like this. So I want it to be in the saw in the same fashion as it's going to be on the floor. So I cut a piece of floor and I just stick it behind it like that. And that should help. That way when I cut this one, and if I put this piece of wood behind the next one, they should be both at the same profile when I bring the blade down. So when I splice them together, they should be pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna put this on a 45. That ought to do it right there. Let the blade stop spinning before you bring it up, otherwise you could chunk pieces of your material out. That's never good. Now as you can see, it's kind of at a slight angle right there, but then so is this one, so that's going to make for a real nice splice. We're going to take it in there and use the CA glue and make this become one, and then we can cut it whatever length we want. Actually, I'm probably just going to go ahead and cut it the length and then glue it together. So let me go ahead and get that. There we go. That's beautiful. All right. So I also want to make sure it's pretty straight. All right, and then I have my trusty assistant Kelly down here to hold the other end for me. Kelly, would you hold that end on there for me? Thank you. And the number was 171. 171. I have her marked. All right, so sometimes I don't know what's good video and what's not good video. So I'm just gonna run this thing like I'm installing it and video it, and then I guess we'll cut it up from there, but you guys can go through my trials and tribulations. I'll explain some things as I go along. I had to go take a belt sander to the floor down over here because it was higher on this side than it was down here. And when I cut this thing 3 1/4 all the way down there, I was seeing a little bit of a gap down here because the stair nose was not lipping over top of that. We got that taken care of. We got our stair nose spliced, and I'll show you where it's going to be going. So it's a 2-piece, and for those of you who aren't aware, when you're cutting trim or any kind of transitions like this, you always want to put your splice so that the bevel, the long part of your bevel, is facing that direction. You don't want to be seeing the crack when you walk into the room because it's very obvious. So if you can put your crack facing the opposite of the main part of traffic, it's not as visible. All right, so here we are, we're in 2 pieces. This was 171, we got it cut at 171, and bing bang boom. That's all we got to do is glue that together and then install it. So I'm going to check and see if the track can be used with this, and if the track is going to raise me up too high and create a crack. If that happens, then we're just going to glue this thing down, set some boxes of wood on it, and call it good. All right, stay with me. All right, so here we go. So check it out. This is how it's set up. You can see that this is just slightly higher than this, and it's really like not even 1/8 of an inch. It's just a little bit over a 1/16, and that's because this part of it drops down a little bit lower, and it has this little thing that caps over the riser here, okay? And so I still have my 1/4 of an inch expansion right here, and I'm lipped over about a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to try and take a scrap piece of track and attach it here and see if it's going to keep me lifted up like this as opposed to down like this, because if it lifts up like that too much, then I'm going to be able to see a black crack down there, and that's something I don't want. So let's check that out. I have a scrap piece of track here, and I'm just going to cut it up and then pound it into this piece right here and see what we look like. All right, I'm just going to flip it upside down here, pound it in. I don't know, guys, that's laying in there pretty good. I think the track might work. Let's see. That's what the track laid in there. Let's check that out. That's what we're looking for. And that is with the track. So if I slide that all the way down, you can see we're on the money. We're good to go. So we will be installing the track. Show you how we do that. All right, so now to get the placement of where the stair nose needs to go, or where I need to put the track, I want to come down here and line up the front of this with the front of that riser right there. And I just want to mark both sides of my, and it looks like it's riding tight right up against that edge of that plywood, so that's going to be perfect, so I can drop my screws right down there. That's going to look like this right here. And that gives me a little bit expansion gap right there, and I can silicone right down inside that and seal it off, so that's going to work out perfect. All right, this is your first time with us. Maybe you've seen the CA glue, maybe you haven't. I was introduced to it by Richard from Finished Carpentry TV, and I'm telling you, it has been a game changer when it came to two-piecing my transitions together. So right now we got a stair nose and we're fixing to glue that together. I think I'm just going to glue it right here in place because it seemed to work out just right, and it holds shape perfect for me. So I'm going to set these up here the way that they're going to be, and we're just going to glue them up and get busy. All right. It just sits there really good. And then this one goes right here. Ooh, look at that, man, that is pretty. So, all right, that'll also help me to hold it straight too. So I'm gonna take this one off right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and deliver some glue on this one right here. All right, throw you a little bit on the, I like to put mine on the little bevel part that exposes. Right here. I just set that right there for right now. And now you spray the other side with this activator. Go ahead and set it up there. Now, you only have about 8 seconds once you touch these together, so you better make sure you got it right. I see the puppies here. And I don't want to glue it to the floor, so I move it around a little bit, but that's basically what we got right there. Let's see, I'll just count down because it's already been at least 3 seconds, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I mean, it becomes one piece. So now we have us a one-piece stair nose. And we'll set that down and let it cure up a little bit more while we screw our track in. All right. Now when I'm two-piecing this together, I like to make sure that the track spans over the splice. So I want to put the long part. Let's see. There really isn't one. I mean, like that. See how it joins over? If it was really shorter, I'd want to put it down, but we definitely want to make sure that the track goes over the splice. All right, let's get the stall on this thing. It's a two-piece too as well. All right. Oh, look at that. That little line right there is right on the money. I wonder if it breaks. Guy told me it break off. He said they just break right off. Oh, look at that. It really did. It broke right off. Huh. And that's perfect right there where I needed it too. Boom. All right. We're going to screw it down. Well, guys, in the words of a man who asked me for a job, and when I asked him to go cut me a 45-degree miter, he said, I'm not even going to try to perpetrate. And I'm not either. If this is your first time in my channel, you might be thinking, this guy's an idiot. But for the loyal subscribers and returning viewers, you guys know I have a playlist of how to install almost every type of transition or stair nose in just about every situation. And in those videos, I show you how to build up the bottom so the U-channel will actually reach the transition or stair nose. And I always preach about making sure that you bend the U-channel back out where you've inserted the screws, because sometimes it will pinch it in. And if it does, the metal will bend over and the transition will never go in. In all my time on YouTube, I've never had a problem where I cut the video and came back in editing like everything worked out perfect. And I certainly didn't want to do that today. Guys, we are human.
Mistakes will be made. It's important to own up to them, but more important to learn and grow as an installer and figure out a way to remedy the situation. Luckily for me, I had a backup plan. Good old tried and tested PL3X. Now, if you have never used this stuff before, let me tell you before you just pop the top and start squirting glue. This is a urethane glue, and it will stick MDF to wood and concrete like nobody's business. So make sure you have left a nice size expansion gap on your perimeter, and if you keep this stuff out towards the edge away from your flooring, you shouldn't have any problems. Back when I first got into flooring, a fellow installer showed me this stuff, and I had 2 floors bow up in the middle. If you run this glue right up against your flooring, when it goes to expand and contract, as flooring does, it will not allow your floor to move. It simply becomes one with what it touches, and it turns as hard as a rock. Your floor will have no choice but to go straight up.
It's so weird that line over there where the seam is, it like goes up.
I used to be a subcontractor for Home Depot where I did flooring, and they gave us a class on how to install perimeter seal. They told me that silicone was 100% flexible and it was okay to put it up against the flooring. So what I like to do is put a small dam in between this glue and the flooring. That way when it starts to move, it moves into the silicone as opposed to in the glue, and it still holds my transition very tight. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, first of all, thanks. I did want to mention when it comes to cleanup, Kelly is using 100% acetone from the Dollar General. You can go buy it at Home Depot, it's just a little bit more expensive. You can also use denatured alcohol. I have found in my 13 years of installing floors that this stuff is safe on laminates, LVP, and engineered woods. I would not try it on a sand and finish floor, but definitely I would test it on a scrap piece before I just start going. But generally, I've never had a problem. Once the stair nose is down, I like to put tape across it just to hold the backside down. And then if you have any scrap flooring boxes left over, lay those on top just to hold it down. And when it is done, I'm telling you, that thing is there for life. Well, one stair nose down and one more to go. Hope you guys learned something about that. It actually turned out great, and here's the finished product. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing my epic failure, I went ahead and included that video at the end here. I did not want to keep it towards the front because some people actually do follow along step by step, and I didn't want you to get that far into the U channel and everything and find out, oh my gosh, we have to pull all this stuff back out. So I put this on here so you could see my frustration and struggles and see how we remedied it with the glue. It's very important to know that these things are going to happen and you need to know how to fix it. So enjoy the bloopers. You guys have a great day. And until next time, take care and stay safe. Peace. Here's a good YouTube tip. If you're planning on going to lunch, make sure you turn your mic back on when you get back from lunch.
I got Kelly here, she's gonna help me. So it really needs to be 2 people because it's silicone all the way across, and if you don't have 2 people, it could be a mess. So we're just gonna try to set it on in place where it goes, and then I'll start it at one end and work my way down. But this stops me from getting it everywhere. hardest part is getting it started, but once you do that, it's pretty easy. It just works its way in. No. Rim. This is not one of those situations where the metal's bending over. Because if it is, that is such a yeah, this is not gonna work.
Do you want me to come take a look at it and see if it's doing it underneath it? I can see underneath it.
What's happening?
It's not doing nothing. Lift it up and let me see. Yeah, you need to come back towards me.
Towards you.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't back all the way. Yeah. If you want me to hold it up in the middle so you have a bow?
Like that?
Yeah.
And you can. What the fuck? Get me going. Oh, I want to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's in it.
It just feels not good. Is it in there?
That does look pretty tight on the back side. Oh, it popped up. That's perfect. Yep, got it. Don't hit my fingers. I'm gonna hold it right here. Yep, got it. Beautiful. Oh, nope, something's up right there.
Well guys, as you can see, we got to about the half point mark and it just would not continue to go down. There obviously was something wrong with the track and the placement of it, because this usually doesn't happen. But it did, and as you saw at the beginning, we went back to good old PL3X glue and silicone, and then we also set boxes on the top. Hopefully you guys learned something from my mistakes today and my successes. If you guys enjoy videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you will be notified when I put more out, and help us out by smashing the like button. Thanks for watching, and once again, until next time, take care and stay safe. Peace.